guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Ajane for those of you who are new. And today we're going to be talking about things that you should probably know as a social worker. I'm thinking of making this a little mini series. And if you guys have anything that you would like me to add to the next video, I would really appreciate it. And I would ask that you comment that down below. Okay, so one of the things that you probably know, but that you should really know, is that not all of your patients will like you. Not all of your patients will think that you're helpful, will think that you help them, will think that you are qualified to help them. Some of them will be like, well, you are younger than me. Or some of them might think because of your race or your ethnicity that you can't relate to them, so you can't possibly help them. There will be others who feel like it can also be related to class and your upbringing. And now, although they don't have a lot of history about you and you might have more history about them, they will make assumptions that you can't help them. So not every patient, client will like you, and that's perfectly okay. We're not there to be friends. We're not there to, become best buddies. We're there to build a rapport and a good working relationship, a collaboration between yourself and the patient. And so it's easier for me to say, just wash it away, like don't take it personally. But there are times where I do sometimes reflect on it too much and it starts to overwhelm me, and I don't want that for you. I am working towards building up my confidence with my patients, and I'm already like 6-7 years into the field, and I'm still struggling with that sometimes. And I just want to let you know that it's not possible for every single patient that you ever encounter, every single client that you ever encounter throughout your social work career to like you. And you just have to remember that they're not your friends, that you're there to do a job, that you're there to help them and do the best that you can do. And so I do encourage you to do the best that you can do, to put forth a good effort, so that at the end of the day, you know that you've done your best for the patient, and whether they've, picked up where you left off and or just have this feeling that from the moment they saw you, they didn't like you, and so they want you to know that they didn't like you or trust you, or they heard things about you, to not take it personally. We're there to do a job, and just make sure that you do your job fairly and accurately, professionally, all the things. Another thing is, not every need can be met. I know, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that I got in this field to help people, and oftentimes I myself find barriers to helping my own patients. And so it can be defeating. It can be challenging to continue to have hope and to continue to encourage yourself and to encourage your patients, and to do the work that we do when there's limited resources. And especially now in 2023, I feel like we are at this weird place where we have all of these resources, but there's all of these like qualifications and restrictions and barriers in order to get those resources. And so it feels like there are fewer resources than ever before, even though we do have so many opportunities, especially when I live in a more like populated, larger city in America, and I'm even struggling to find good resources for my patients. And so it's hard because you want to meet these needs, and you hear your patients' struggles and their barriers and their obstacles and the things that they've had to overcome and the things that they want to accomplish with their families or with themselves as an individual, how to grow and to improve themselves and to improve their quality of life. And sometimes the resources don't work. Sometimes they don't meet those qualifications. So they'll meet the qualifications or criteria for that specific resource. Sometimes they've aged out. Sometimes it's for a specific ethnicity that they want to give funding to or assistance with. Sometimes you have to define the word homeless. And so the need is there and there's resources for it, but not all of our patients' needs will be met. Like I had a patient today, for example, who needs to be admitted to the hospital until she delivers. And unfortunately, she's not in a position to do that. She's not in a position to be without work for several months while she's, treating herself and her baby, making sure that they're the healthiest they can possibly be, without risking her job, without risking losing her house, without risking not feeding her other children and her family. And those are hard things that you know, as much as myself and my medical field, you know, my professions in the medical field, like doctors and nurses, want to help, and they say, oh, let's see if a social worker, I can't help with getting you short-term disability, especially if you've exhausted all the resources yourself. I can't wave a wand and say, boop, 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 you know, you can be admitted, you know, we'll take care of your funds, you know, your rent and your kids' bills and food and things for you while, you know, you're impatient. So it's like, it sucks, and I feel so much empathy, and I have to express that to that patient, but all of those needs can't be met. There's some things that just aren't possible, even though you want to help. So just remember that we can only do what we can do, and we can do the best that we can do with what we have. And not every person's needs will be met. Not every person will be satisfied at the end of the day. And that's really unfortunate. Another thing that you should know as a social worker or as a new social worker is that you aren't limited to just one specific population or demographic or client focus. You can work literally anywhere. I know that there's some jobs that prefer you to have experience in some areas and or to have a higher education or a master's degree or license even. And okay, but don't just stop there. Don't give up. Continue to push forward. If you want to work in one population, then do that. But I do think that it's really beneficial to work in different or various populations and job settings and different fields, because I think that that makes you more of a asset. And it also allows you to be exposed to several different things, several different organizations and resources and referrals, helps you build better connections within the community and outside the community, helps you continue your education, even if you aren't pursuing a master's or a license. I just think that it's really good for us to continue our education and learning about new things. And so I think that, you know, it's great to have like, oh, I want to be a medical social worker, and I'm just using it as an example because that's what my channel is really focused on right now, is medical and hospital, you know, social work. And that's because that's what I'm doing right now. But I didn't always do medical social work. I worked at a Head Start program, and I was kind of like a school social worker. And I love that, and that has definitely helped and increased my abilities as a medical social worker because I'm able to relate to kids and understand the challenges of a parent and the challenges of a kid and how the school system works. And I work on labor and delivery and maternal fetal unit right now, and I work in an OB office as well. So all of those past histories, I worked in inpatient, I work now in an outpatient OB setting, and I am able to apply other things that I've experienced, other things, other resources, other examples. I can relate back to other things that I've been through throughout my undergraduate and my graduate degree and my practicums, and apply that to my job now. And so the next population or field or whatever I work with, then I'm only going to get better. I'm only going to improve. So I'm just going to say, don't box yourself in. Continue to explore different opportunities. And if you want to get to a specific job like medical social work, a lot of people ask me, well, can I do medical social work if I have this background? And I'm saying, like, yeah, I don't see why not. I think that it does help if you do have some type of medical background or if you have an understanding. So that's why I'm saying get into those CEU classes. You don't have to get the CEUs or pay for them, but go to trainings, go to conferences, and learn about the medical field and how the medical field and social workers interact. And like, there's plenty of opportunities where you can enhance your skills, enhance your learning opportunities, and apply that to a job without necessarily having to work previously at a hospital. So I think that it's good to just like keep your eyes open on different or similar, you know, job expectations or roles or settings, because that can be, you know, applicable to another job or the dream job that you're going for right after graduate school or your BSW and things like that. So just keep an open mind, guys. Don't be boxed into one thing, because I never ever would have thought that I would have been a medical social worker. Like, that was like, I never wanted to really work with veterans, and I didn't want to work in a hospital, and here I am. So just keep your heart open, your mind open, and don't think that because of your previous background that you can't use those things in whatever field that you want to try next. So that's my advice. So another thing that you should know as a social worker is that not everyone knows what a social worker is, what a social worker does, how we can be helpful, how, our job can look like. And so I think that it's important, especially if you're in a MSW program, to really inquire about how to apply what you've learned in school into an actual job setting, because I have found that in a hospital setting, a lot of medical professionals, because why would they, know about what an actual social worker does, what our job responsibilities are, what are the type of things that we can be helpful with, what are the type of things that we shouldn't be involved or helpful with, and like what that scope looks like. And so especially if you don't have a supervisor who has a LMSW or LCSW or MSW background, it can be challenging to explain that to people who aren't familiar with the social work role, because it's pretty clear what the nurse's expectations are. It's pretty clear what the doctor's expectations are. It's clear what an MA's expectations are, even like the cuddlers that come and cuddle the babies. But there's something that's like weird about the whole social work realm that like sometimes I'm like, why would you think that I would be able to help with that? Or why did you tell this patient that I could help her and I can't? So it can be a little sticky. So kind of when you go into a job, my advice is to have a clear understanding of what your expectations are, what your job roles and responsibilities will look like, duties and things like that, because that lets there to be less confusion between you and your colleagues when you're trying to collaborate and work together, no matter what population or field that you're working in. I think that is just really important and pertinent information to know, is to have open communication with the team. It's like saying like, okay, this is what I can do and this is what I can't do, and this is what I want to help with. How can we expand my responsibilities or my resources and referrals to accommodate this? So yeah, don't assume that everybody will know what a social worker is, what you can do, what your license means, what your master's means, and don't ever do anything that's outside of your scope. And I can't stress that. Don't ever do anything that's outside of your scope. Stay within the social work realm. And if you have doubts or questions, talk to the board, refer back to NASW book, and explain like certain guidelines and things that you're supposed to be doing. And you can always ask people questions that's similar to your field, or you can find someone online and things like that. So that's my best advice as well. Okay, another thing is self-care. I always preach about self-care on my channel. I think it's super important. I even dedicated an entire video, which I'll link in the cards. And I want to tell you to take your self-care. Take your PTO. I cannot express this. I honestly think that like social workers are some of the best people because we enjoy to travel, at least the ones that I know. We enjoy to getting out there and experiencing life. And like, I also think that that helps us as professionals, because if we're able to see the world and interact with other people and all the cultures and other environments, that helps us to be able to relate to certain clients, to share world experiences and apply certain things to our job. But it's important to take care of yourself. You cannot continue to take care of people and help people and feed into people's souls and spirits and minds and emotionally and mentally if you don't do that for yourself. So make sure that you're taking self-care. It's super important. My school was very, 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 my BSW program was very adamant about self-care, and I took it to heart. Okay, Ajane, I will take my PTO. I will stack up my PTO. That is one of the first things I do when I start a new job, is I stack up my PTO, and I will plan out my trips, and I will take the PTO. I would take a self-care day if I'm feeling a little too overwhelmed that month. I'm like, gotta put it on a calendar. I'm out. So it's really, really important, especially if you're going to be working in a medical field. I think that it is super important that you make sure that you take your PTO, your sick days, your medical leave, whatever, do it. Okay. I know that we care about our patients. I know that we care about our colleagues, and we don't want to like leave people behind and make people like, I took a vacation, and my client today was like, Girl, where were you? You know you can just be leaving me like that. I was like, you were left in great hands. I left you in the hands of my coworker. She came and checked on you. I told her that you're gonna be a little leery of her. But it's good to have other new people bringing into your life, because I'm not always gonna be here. And that's totally fine. But they're there to help you, and they're, you know, capable of helping you. So making sure that your patients know that you do have a good colleague or a good team working behind you. You shouldn't be everything to your patients, okay? I make sure that she knows that I can't be everything. You know, I care about her, but I can't be everything, because I need to take my PTO and I have another trip, and she's not gonna be happy about it. But, you know, she knows that where she is, she's taken good care of, and that I will follow up with her when I get back. One last thing I want to leave you with is that when you're starting a new job, if you're a fresh little MSW, just got your license right out of graduate school, to be easy on yourself. One thing that you should know as a social worker is that we can't know everything. It's not possible. I don't know a single person anyway who knows everything, but I know that I can speak for myself. I put a lot of pressure on myself in my first job to make sure that I remembered and was able to recall resources and referrals, and that's just not sustainable. And I just want you to know, just be as organized as you can. Have your, you know, folders and your documents and things, so that if you have a food insecurity problem with a patient, that you have resources already set aside, that like, okay, this will work best for her and her environment, her specific situation and her income. You know, just don't put pressure on yourself to know everything and to, you know, recall things and have all the resources and have all the answers and the solutions right away. It's okay to tell the patient, I'm not sure about that. Let me check on it and I'll follow back up with you. It's okay. I didn't want to be that person either. I didn't want to, you know, tell a patient that I didn't know. But if I didn't know, I didn't know. And it's no need of pretending. It's no need of kind of walking around it and saying like, oh, well, I think if you don't know, you don't know, and it's okay. And I think that also humanizes us to them. So just tell them the truth, like, I'm not sure, let me follow up, let me check, or let me get a second opinion about this and I'll follow back up with you. Or if you're willing to wait a little bit, I can give them a call and just clarify that detail with them. It's okay. It's okay to not know, not to have all the answers, not to have all the solutions at that one time, and just be easy on yourself. Love yourself. Know that it's going to be rough days. They're going to be really challenging days. You're going to be burnt out a few times here and there. And there are also good days and good patients and clients and people who really motivate you and inspire you and really set that fire back into why you got into this field and this profession in the first place. And so write some of those good moments down, those whys. And I think that that will get you far in the professional field. And yeah, that's all for this first video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. If you did, please make sure that you like the video, that you subscribe down below if you haven't subscribed, because a lot of you haven't subscribed. You're watching my videos, and that's real shady of you. It's real shady of you to watch these videos, to take the knowledge and the advice and all that I'm giving you and not subscribing. You can at least subscribe. I don't post that much. I don't bother you that much. That you can't subscribe and, you know, show me a little support. I'm on my way to 1K, which I'm really excited about. I at one point didn't know if that was going to happen, so I really truly appreciate all that you guys are to me and all of your support and encouragement. I'm glad to be able to be a vessel, like a big sister, or like a mentor in some aspects to some of you who come to me for advice and suggestions, and I love it. And yeah, I will talk to you guys real soon, and let me know what type of videos you like, because I want to be able to make some. Feeling really inspired. I've taken like several months off and I'm back at it, baby. So lots of videos coming, social work content coming, other videos, travel content. It's gonna be a lot of travel content this year, which I'm really excited about. I love traveling, as you can see. But yeah, I hope that you guys are well, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.